Welcome everyone back to another round of CIRF of the California Immigration Resilience Fund. This training, as many of you remember from last year's Good Gorditas, a lunchtime training and community forum where we can talk about the distribution of the fund, how to keep track of it, and then ways also that mobile pathways could help with that. So really quickly, let's just introduce ourselves. So my name is Bart. I'm actually an immigrant from Poland. I'm one of the co-founders of Mobile Pathways. I'll be guiding this training and would like to introduce Francisco.
Yeah, my name is Francisco. I'm program director at Mobile Pathways.
Thank you. And Posey?
Posey.
Hi, this is Posey. You may remember me from last year. I'm the tech person behind the scenes.
Tech. Thank you very much, guys. All right, so really quickly, we're going to talk about who Mobile Pathways is, about us, so you'll have a better understanding of what we do as a nonprofit. We're going to do a refresher. Many of you remember this from last year. There are some new bells and whistles and a new look and feel. For those of you that might be a little new, we're going to do a really quick overview of how you register volunteers or staff to do the forms. Francisco, if you can keep admitting people, please, they're still coming in. And then we'll dive right in, show you again what it looked like from last year, or if you're new, what My Camino looks like and what that is, and then allow plenty of time for questions and answers. Most of this is about My Camino and using it for tracking. We will talk about for people that are just going to do the data upload, and we'll get to that before the demo. So if you don't want to actually see the My Camino part, you're welcome to. And then afterwards, I do believe Alex is on the call. She will be able to answer any questions that may be more operational or directly related to the grant, because we're more on the reporting, intake side, the form side on that part. So to dive right in, who are we as Mobile Pathways? Mobile Pathways is a nonprofit that's dedicated to democratizing immigration access. Our theory of change and our mission is to provide immigration nonprofits like yourselves the capabilities to better do the work you're doing and reach your community. And our beneficiaries, intending immigrants like ourselves, refugees or asylum seekers, feel more safe in their communities and better prepared for their immigration journey. The way we do that is by partnering with immigration nonprofits and attorneys with a platform we call My Camino. For CIRF, you're going to see a smaller window of what My Camino does, but we wanted to present it in its broad context and show you the aspects that you're going to see specifically for CIRF 2021. And the reason is we do exist to help empower you. Our services for nonprofits are free. So if you are interested in learning more about how to bulk text your communities and keeping them updated as immigration reform is now breaking, executive actions are being placed in, or if you have the unfortunate situation where members of your communities have been imprisoned by ICE, we can actually help find them. We've helped organizations like Centro file class action lawsuits with the data, and then Calendar Call, which is our capability of knowing when people's court dates are coming up in the future. For the purpose of this demonstration, we're only going to focus on what we call secure intake, which is the ability for nonprofits here specifically to be able to do direct cash assistance in the applications, and then My Camino, which is a very slick tool to help you show lots of interesting demographic information. As people are filling out these forms, since many organizations are going to be distributing to many of our immigrant communities in California, as we saw last year, we learned a lot. We had 30,000 applications, as Darren showed last year, and organizations like Cielo that took it one step further because there's all this data that they now know about indigenous languages. That's what My Camino does. That's the ability to contextualize all this information. And very easily, what we're going to do here, at least in a light approach, empower you to learn more about your communities. So that's who we are as Mobile Pathways. Let's dive right into CIRF 2021 with the major headlines, because many of you are existing partners from last year, and then we will make sure it's contextualized for those of you that may be new. Big new headline, My Camino looks different. It's better, it's slicker, it's nicer. We did do a refresh. It is now called My Camino. For those of you that may remember, it used to be called Communal. Not too much different, it's just much nicer. It looks nicer to navigate, same dashboards, same way. The process of doing intake isn't going to change, But for those of you that are logging in, and some of you are partners already, you decided over the course of last year, it's like, it's amazing. I want to text my community. I want to track inmates. I want to be able to, people are using actually that CIRF form to track other funding, and that's cool. We can help with that. That if you've partnered with us, that My Communal, the one that you're seeing, that hasn't changed. This is for partners from CIRF last year. So My Communal, new look, same process. Show it later. Like last year, there is a core set of questions that is now being managed by the Tides Foundation, and custom questions, the questions that you wanted to learn about your community. Those haven't changed. Those questions are still there. So for organizations, and many of you remember this from last year, you wanted to learn a little bit more about your communities, those questions are there. There's a core intake form, a core application form, along with the customized questions. This core form is now much easier. We have reviewed it with Tides and GSIR from last year to remove some of the fields that were no longer required, so it can help you fill it out faster. If you have any of your custom questions, we are at this point considering this form ready because we know everyone is chomping at the bit. We will accept that on a limited basis. Please email help@mobilepathways.org, and we'll get into that a little bit later if you do want to tailor, but we would really like to keep the form as it is now. As from last year, fewer required fields. We do want to be able to get the funding out and track it. So thanks to Darren, thanks to Tides, thanks to GSIR, we looked at last year what questions we absolutely have to know, the zip codes where the funding is going, what is the greatest concern based upon the pandemic, but remove many of the extraneous questions from last year. As last year, there's an English form and there's a Spanish form. Many staff, many volunteers, it's much easier to just enter it in their native language, especially since, as we saw, as Darren presented last year, 80% of the demographic information was last year was Latinx. So having a Spanish form is obviously much easier. You can easily toggle back and forth, and I'll show how that's done. The form, many people remember this last year. At first, it was desktop only. Many people were calling. Many people were getting, from home, taking in these applications or copying them over from spreadsheets. But we do know some people were going in Central Valley to very remote locations. And so we made the form mobile friendly. It is tablet response ready. It is good for your mobile phone. The only trick is you do have to tilt it this way for the form to appear. We are trying to work on it to make sure it can work in the 90-degree view. But if you are going out to the field being to our farm workers, to factories, and you're doing intake, some organizations are, you can do it on mobile devices. You can do it on tablets. You could also, of course, take your laptop, but it is meant to be field ready and very easy to use. This is the one of the two trainings. We do have Francisco here who can help. Many of you have reached out to him before. Francisco has just published a series of videos. Obviously, this is a training you're going to start. You're going to pass it off to a volunteer. This will be recorded. This will be at that link. But there are very short, bite-sized videos. If you forget a few months from now, like, wait a minute, why am I not seeing any approved intake forms? Why are they only submitted? We've got very quick, short videos in both English and Spanish. If you go to bit.ly mpcharlas, that's our YouTube channel. You will see a playlist for CIRF training videos right here. And thank you to Francisco for recording those, both in English and in Spanish. So if you forget something here and you need a reference, or you have volunteers that are starting in March, please just guide them there first. You'll see many of your questions answered. So how do we get started? Everything here, it's a little bit more streamlined since last year. There is a one-stop shop that's directly on our website for all the materials you need to do to get started, whether that's registering volunteers, meaning the process of, like, I have 10 people that are going to be entering in all these forms for me, to seeing what the results are. All of this is in one place on our website. We'll show that as part of the demo. For those of you accessing it on the desktop, you'll see it on the upper right. The mobile version of our website doesn't actually show these links. You will have to navigate down to the footer, and you'll see CIRF 2021. And it opens up a new window where you will see the application form itself, the ability to sign up volunteers or staff to enter the form for you. For those of you not using My Communal, the data collection template is also there. I think there's only 1 or 2 new organizations for joining us for CIRF 2021. Welcome. If you are a new organization, the only thing and the first thing that you need to do that's different from the rest of the group is sign the MOU. The MOU quickly says that this data is safe. Posey can go into this with any more details should you have any questions. It is safe, it is secure, it is kept anonymized. No one else can see your data. After CIRF 2021 and all the application process is done, the funds have been distributed. Tides calls this mission completed and a success. You delete it, it's gone. This is the reason we really want to work with you and partners in MyCamino and as Mobile Pathways. Google Sheets is just not as safe. This is personal information of a very vulnerable population, and that MOU goes into those details. The data is yours, it's secure, and when this is done, it will be destroyed. That's what that covers. It's very simple. We'll do that as really part of the demo to show you how quickly it is to sign that. But the key point here is go to mobilepathways.org. All the links you need to get started are there. So really quickly, for the organizations that may not be using MyCamino, this might be where we part ways after this. I just want to show you where the optional data collection form is. It is still on that one-stop shop. If you go to mobilepathways.org and click on CIRF 21, there's a link there called optional data collection form. It will open up a Google Sheet. This is your template. We need those as CSV files. We being us as Mobile Pathways will collect it, put it together with all the other MyCamino partners, the vast majority, and then send it over to Tides for reporting purposes by June 30th. Of course, it is always appreciated if you can do it earlier. If you have gotten your grant, you have distributed all your funding, you want to be done with the reporting, please do send that to us earlier. And the template is there. All those fields on the template are required, A through P. Those are all the core fields that are required for distribution, for collection. And at this point, we're going to go to the demo. So if you are just the few organizations that are not using MyCamino because you already have your own systems, the rest of this may not be particularly interesting to you. You're of course more than welcome to stay, but that is the part that we required on the collection of data. So I'm going to lead part of this demo, then pass it on to Posey. I'm just going to start with the very quick use case of I am a new person. I'd like to get started. I'm one of the new organizations to CIRF and need to start collecting information. Again, you go to mobilepathways.org. In the upper right, you'll see CIRF 2021. You click on that link. The first thing to do, and again, very few organizations here, but sign the MOU. You can do this all online. All we need is a point of contact at the organization, fill in their personal details, and then if you do it on a tablet, you can just use your finger. If not, you can just add a signature and submit it. Once we get that, Francisco emails you back. He says, thank you. Here's your organization code. Every organization that is tracking MyCamino has a different 6-digit number. This is what's going to help you keep track of, helps us keep track whose volunteers work for whom. So making sure the right applications are going to the right place. So that is the sign-up process. It's really that easy, and Francisco will email you within a day. So starting again back here. So now I'm a new organization I just set up, or I'm an existing organization from last year, but I have some new volunteers helping me. How do I get them empowered to be able to start taking applications, whether it's over the phone, in a place of work? The next is the volunteer sign up. So at this point, all I want to do is empower people to start doing applications. I'm going to be our demo organization of the day. My 6-digit number is 100-100. Sorry, I'm in the wrong place. This is me signing up, the volunteer sign up. So I'm just going to, this is me signing up a new person. I'm going to put in the information there. And it's going to submit that. So it's really that easy to be able to sign up a new person. All you have to have is their emails. They will then be able to access the intake form itself to be able to do the actual filling out of the form. What does the form look like? It looks like this. So I have already logged in. Some of you, when you click on that button, it will ask you for the first time for your email and account code, so you know which organization is which. You will see your name, your organization's name here, whether that is Centro Legal, Alliance for a Better Community, Oakland Dreamers. You will see that in the upper left to know that this is your organization. This is the same form from last year. Key differences being there are less fields to fill out. And then what else did I want to show here? Key thing is this field, the funder field, we are now in CIRF round 2. There are very few, hardly any, but I still think there might be a couple of few organizations that are still entering in funds from last year. So you still have that capability to keep the data separate. And I know there are a few organizations that receive funding from other foundations, awesome, to provide more direct cash assistance. And many ask this question of like, well, can I use this to keep track of them? Yes. And you just use other for that. For this group, it's CIRF round 2. This is CIRF 2021. This is what you will be putting here. That is why it's the default value. Anything else I may have missed on that, Posey, that you wanted to chime in on?
For those who are giving out funds to the same people, if you were to type it in again here, it won't break anything.
Thank you. Yes, so it was asked on the call last week for Tides. Many of you want to support the same families. There's absolutely no restriction on that from a Tides operational perspective or a technical perspective. If you want to support the same families, you're more than welcome to. Francisco, could you unmute Floor? She has a question. So there is a capability, as people see in the lower nav bar, to raise hands. We can take a quick question since we're going good on time.
Hey everyone, thanks for taking my question. My question is, if we previously helped a family and gave them, for example, an Omni card, and this second time around we're giving them something different, like a check, would it allow us to pick 2 of the options? Because usually in the past, when you click one option and you click a separate option, it only logs it as one thing. And I know in this case, it might be different, right? So would we be allowed to click 2 of those options?
So this application is one-to-one match, right? So as long as you're giving them all the funds in one method, that's fine. If you want to do it in 2 methods, you need to split the amount up. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I just mean once the amounts have been approved and the check has been received, or an Omni card has been received by one of the workers, what we do is I go back into the my Camino, and then I put receive or disperse, right? Like it was given to somebody, but the option of what they receive is usually like Omni card, check, cash. I could only click one of those.
Yeah, it will always be one.
Oh, okay, that's what I meant. And it doesn't matter that we gave it, and probably the first time around was in one way, and the second time around it was in a different way.
Correct.
Doesn't matter. Got it. Okay.
Thank you.
Good question, by the way. Thank you for the reminder about the existing users. I'm not on mute, am I? I am not. So I'm going to wrap up my portion. I'm going to redo it really quickly just so everyone got a just one more time. So if you're a new organization, you click on the Memorandum of Understanding. MOU is the easier way of saying that. Once you're signed up, you will get an email from Francisco with your account code. You will be that primary person associated with the organization for signing up volunteers. Volunteer sign up is here. That 6-digit code enters here. It will find you. All you do is just enter in very few fields, and you will be able to sign up your volunteer, your staff. We do know some organizations had 20 people, given the amount of people that we're trying to reach. That's how you sign them up. That should not be obviously expected to be doing often. That will be here for the entire duration that we're here, which is through June 30th. Volunteer sign up, we are expecting obviously will be heavy in the beginning and then lower at time. What will be ongoing is the main form. This is the ability to actually enter in the information. If you're in the field, if you're doing it over the phone, here is how you toggle between the languages. That is available on either the full desktop view or the phone view, tablet view. which remember, to make it easier, has to be this way, that you can navigate between the languages, exact same form, exact same questions, exact same answers, just in different languages. And then now you have volunteers. You have people that are applying for funding. You have 100 applications in. How do you keep track of all that? And for that, I am going to pause share and hand it over to Posey.
Can you guys see my screen now?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So where Bart left off was he was in here, and this is good for people who are in the field collecting information. You also have a group of people that are potentially in the office trying to process all these things, sitting at the desk, but need more powerful tools. And for that, we have the My Communal user interface. When you click on this, this is going to take you to a login screen that looks like that. Some people who are not just volunteers, some people who are designated contacts at your organization will receive a login. And when you log in from here, it'll take you to this view. And this looks very similar to what we had last year, which is the Communal platform. Please note this URL is different. So if you were to go to the old URL, that URL will no longer work. Okay, so always go to this new URL, which is My Communal, or remember to go from this link. Once you log in, every time you log in, this dashboard will automatically tell you a summary of everything you have received so far. So for example, in this demonstration environment of the 169 applicants that I've received, I know by gender, I know by primary job, I know by race. Okay, I also know total funds paid out, total funds distributed by week, total service by week, person served, and how many applications. And added to this round, we also have different filters. So I can look at round 1 point of view. I don't think I have anything with round 1. And I have round 2 point of view. And for those who are using this application for other applications, they're also the other as well. Moving on. So for those people who want to review the applications, you will come into the CIRF application view. So you will go, actually, I'll go back to home. From home, go to more, go to CIRF applications. This will give you a listing of all the different filters that are available. You can add more as well. So for example, this one will give you all the CIRF 2021 round 2 applications, and you can look at it in a list form, or you can look at it in a what we call the Kanban form, where things are grouped like that, and you can drag records from one to another to reject them, to approve them, and this keeps track of all the sums for you. Okay. Anytime that you want to look at the details, you'll click on the application name, and it'll come in and actually show you the application details. Okay. To approve something, what you want to do is you want to change the application status from reviewing, which is the default, to either approved, rejected, or invalid. Invalid will not be counted at all. This is assuming that something got typed in there is wrong in the first place. Rejected is we reviewed your information and it is just not approved. Earlier on, someone was talking about the payment method. Payment method, if you want to split it up, I recommend putting through 2 applications, and you can use this clone function to split it up. So when you hit clone, it'll copy what you have, and you can split up the payments, and now you can do 2 payment methods. For those who were part of round 1, what I would do is I will find you. So for example, this is potentially somebody who was in round 1. I will find you in client, go to related, find last year's application. So this is be round 1 application, clone it. And as long as you change the fund type, I think is in there somewhere. there, round 2. As long as you change this fund to fund type to round 2, this will become a round 2 application. So if it's exactly the same circumstances, exactly the same applicants, all you have to do is clone it. Is there anything that I missed out that I haven't shared?
So just to be clear, what you just showed, Posey, is like you could do one of 2 ways for existing. You can clone it in there, or you can do it on the application form. Is that correct?
Correct, correct. Depending on how your office is working, if you have mostly people working in the field, it might be easier for them to just type it in straight from this main UI, straight from this form. This is great for people on the field typing it in, but if you're doing things in the back office, you can use this clone function so that you don't have to type in the demographic information one more time. We have a lot of comments. Bart, do you mind?
The same thing. Well, first of all,
Yeah.
thank you for all the comments and questions. At this point, this is pretty much the end of what we wanted to share in terms of like a refresher for some of you in new training. So feel free to raise your hand. We can call on you. Francisco, any questions that you may have seen that we may not have addressed yet?
Yeah, there's one by Karen for the other funds. How can we change the actual questions?
You don't have the ability to change questions. This is something that's done on the admin side. Perhaps it's better that we have an offline conversation.
Yeah, so we do have organizations that are working with us. When I showed that original aspect, right, we have this thing called secure intake, which is ability for organizations, immigration-based organizations or nonprofits to securely enter and store data. We could help with you. If you'd like, please just reach out to Francisco to get started. We are right now with CIRF 2021, we want to ensure there are 60 some organizations here. So there's a little bit of a wait for tailoring it for others, but we would love to help you with that.
Other questions?
Oh,
I see
go
one.
ahead, Bart.
Joseph from Haitian Bridge Alliance, welcome. Yes, you are one of the new organizations. This is our first training, so we were here for you. Please do reach out afterwards. Again, there are going to be other videos available, but welcome. Many of these organizations have used this before, so we may have gone a little quickly, but if you do need to reach out to us, please do. On that note, while I'm on that, and then I'll let Francisco go with any other questions, help@mobilepathways.org. Francisco put it into the comments. Francisco, if you could put it into the comments again, it would help. That is the best way to reach us. If you have questions, if you have suggestions, again, we are a nonprofit that's meant to help you. So we will always be happy to share information, best practices, as many of you remember from last year. And we may do this again this year. We'll see what the demand is. So feel free to reach out to us with those thoughts. We made these reoccurring every month so we could learn from each other. And that's what resulted with the new MyCommunal actually, and many of the features. Help@mobilepathways.org is the best way to reach us. So Joseph, we will help. Any other questions that you saw coming through, Francisco?
Manaka Olson asks, we didn't use MyCommunal last time. People aren't in MyCommunal. Question, are they? We only used Mobile Pathways. This looks familiar.
So why don't you specifically email that help email address and we can check.
Who should we contact for additional MyCommunal logins? I can't remember what we had this year. We are trying to, last year we pretty much, so first of all, many thanks to the Salesforce Foundation for providing this for free. There is usually a cost to this amazing thing that Posey is showing you. Last year we had a ton of free ones, and so we said, sign up as many as you want. Some organizations had 25 backend users, which A, didn't help the few number of free logins we have, and B, it didn't help everyone. If you have 25 people managing one process, let me tell you, you're going to quickly get a mess. So how do you reach us for more logins? Through Francisco. We are asking organizations stay to about 2 to 4 logins. Last year, we did have up to 20. and we are about to run out of free ones, which is a problem for all of us. This is a community of people helping to support the immigrant community, so please be mindful of trying to keep as few back-end users and managers as possible. It'll also help you, trust me, because we saw the organizations had 25 people trying to approve things quickly, getting into knots. But Francisco can help with that.
Now, did we address all the questions that were raised?
We have a question about weekly reports. No, we don't
No
have to
longer
weekly reports
required.
anymore.
Yep.
No longer
If you-
required. Yeah.
If you use this system and put everything in here, everything is centrally reported already. You don't have to do extra reporting.
And we probably saw this one, but it never hurts to remind, Posey, if you can, so our website again, will we get a new link to Camino 2.0? Again, we wanted to make it as easy as possible. Just as remember, mobilepathways.org in the upper right is CIRF 2021. The link to My Camino, the MOU, signing up volunteers. Actually, if you can click on that, Posey, all of it's there. One other thing too, there's Charlas is the name of our YouTube channel. There's the playlist of all the CIRF training. Additionally, which may be beneficial since we're all trying to help immigrants, we are now with our partners, and thanks to some of you that are contributing, recording very brief videos about breaking news, about Immigration 101, about what to do now that MPP is broken, from vetted immigration attorneys. So in addition to the playlist, feel free to look there. If you find something helpful for your community, please share it. There are videos there about attorneys en masse responding to immigrants, refugees, and asylum seekers. Joe Biden passed this executive action. This means this for you. So that is the name of our YouTube channel. You'll find the playlist of training videos there, but hopefully some other helpful content that we can make sure every community member that is an immigrant gets access to legal information, even if they can't afford one. I'm scanning. Anybody's welcome to raise their hand as well. We answered the question about multiple methods.
We have Alex that raised.
Hi, Alex.
Hey, everyone. Just wanted to mention again that the reporting this time is going to look very different. We're trying to capture most of the data through this platform. You will receive a separate communications from Tides Foundation and Darren about the grant reporting. We are trying to make it, easy, where there's going to be just about 3 to 4 questions that we are looking forward to learning in terms of your organizational capacity, so that we can continue to help this program to grow and to continue to support you. But the data of the individuals that you support will be captured through this platform. And those additional questions will be more relatable to your organization. So I just wanted to share that.
Thank you, Alex. And to add to that point too, obviously the purpose of this is for CIRF 2021, but as we saw last week with CLO, and we have other organizations, this is pretty powerful. We as a society in the States haven't reached out en masse to this large of an immigration community, and we learned so much about immigrants in California based on this data. So please feel free to think outside the box and how you use it. I think CLO, with their usage of mapping languages, because that was custom questions they wanted to ask, and using that to raise additional funding for their organization. And then you can always reach out to us too. If you now have 10,000 applications and there's 10,000 mobile phone numbers, you can text them directly via us for free. You can send them your own messages about any update, whether it's DACA related, it's about a breaking news. So feel free to, really use this data to help reach the community en masse. I know we answered this. Oops, I just actually missed the question. I forgot, I moved my hand and now I lost the question. Any others that you're seeing, Posey or Darren?
I saw a question there about the age range. Did you answer that?
So we only asked for, at the moment, adults and children. We no longer ask for specific age ranges like we did last year. Does that answer your question?
I can't remember who asked it.
It was me. Hey everyone, it was me. It was just, I was asking how do I get an age range? Because a lot of the times when we are reporting to other funders, we do get asked like, what is the age range of our of the participants?
Mhm.
And I know we input the year of birth, so I was wondering if that gave us the same kind of statistics for age.
So there was other requests. I think you were probably on the minority. Most of the other applications did not come with age or date of birth information. So perhaps you need to ping me again, and we can find a solution for you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
2 questions. I saw one, I think is for you, Alex. I'm just going to read it verbatim. Are you able to clarify where exactly the funds come from? I've been told multiple things and would like to have an accurate idea of that. That is from Nisha at Kiwa.
And I'm trying to understand when you say where the funds come from, you mean the grant that you received this week, or broadly speaking?
Hi, thank you so much for taking my call. I just mean the funds that we are distributing to the community.
Where they came from?
Mhm.
So it was from the gift that we received last December through Mackenzie Scott.
Okay, so it was a private donation, and
Yes.
it's not CARES Act money. It's not any kind of federal or state money.
No.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and that's a great question too, because in the wider context, the reason the CIRF fund was created was because the CARES Act and other federal benefits, federal funding that was provided to Americans wasn't given to underdocumented and undocumented. And I'm an immigrant myself, and I found it unfair deeply, and that's why I'm so proud of being part of this project, that immigrants that have been longer than me and definitely need the money more than me weren't able to get it. So that was the reason CIRF was established as a private and public partnership. And then thanks to the generosity of Mackenzie Scott to be able to continue it into this year. As we know, we're debating another package in the Senate right now, and it does not appear that under or undocumented immigrants will be part of that package. So thank you to everyone here for helping rectify that wrong. Lizzie asked, what was the YouTube channel? It is also on the one-stop shop. So if you go to mobilepathways.org and you click on CIRF 2021, you'll see the Charlas logo. That's the name of our YouTube channel. Or you can just look up Mobile Pathways, of course, on YouTube, and you will see under playlists the CIRF training, which are all were published this morning, right, Francisco? Those are all done, or are there still more?
We got views already.
Okay.
Yeah.
And again,
Yeah, they're still, they're up.
Sweet.
I was gonna say they're up, yeah.
And if you do, if we will, please send questions to help@mobilepathways.org. Those were videos where we remembered what the frequently occurring questions is. But if we do hear a question 3 or 4 times, it helps us, right? We'll just record the video. Obviously, people will be registering staff. We're here for the next 4 or 5 months. If I could do the math of June minus April. So please send your questions. It'll help us create more videos, and we'll make more videos. And thank you to Posey for putting the YouTube channel, and to Dominique for putting in the YouTube channel as well into the chat. Any other questions? I'm looking, Francisco, if you can scroll with me, even if one we've answered.
Yeah, no.
So we will be uploading this video to that YouTube channel, which we last talked about. Please do share with any staff and volunteers. We will be back next week. It will be, given his native language and ability to speak Spanish far more fluently than I, Francisco presenting entirely this presentation in Spanish. None of you need to attend it again. It will be the same exact thing. just in a different language. Thank you again for everything you're doing for the vulnerable immigrant communities of California. We only wish we could do it for every state in the United States, maybe one day. But until then, thank you. If you have any questions, help@mobilepathways.org is the best way to reach us. And good luck and Godspeed.